Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Deck, and if you enjoy talking about movies in any way, shape or form, you're going to feel right at home here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a video I've wanted to do for a very long time, and the reason why I'm doing it today is because I believe this is kind of the last time I can really do this video, as I've got a bunch of time to myself today. It's the last day before I return to work, which means I won't be able to make videos past 5 p.m. anymore, so I decided what I'm going to do today is my entire Blu-ray collection. I don't want to make this intro too long, because obviously this video is going to be very long, but this is my complete entire Blu-ray collection in its entirety, so I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't even know how it's going to work. I don't know if there's going to be any cuts. I don't know anything about it. My battery may run out. I may lose storage. I don't know. This video might not even end up happening. Who knows? But at this point, I'm planning on doing it. So with all that said and all out of the way, let's just dive straight into it. Starting off with this first initial pile right here, which my Blu-ray collection is a bit weirdly organized. For the most part, it's alphabetical, but for this first bit, I've actually got them kind of in different franchises. So first off, we have the MCU. So we've got Iron Man. Oh god. Do I turn that off? No, that still doesn't really turn off a glare, but I still like that on. So Iron Man. See, the one that started it all. The Incredible Hulk. Iron Man 2. Thor. Captain America, the First Avenger on 4K, one of the most underrated Marvel movies. The Avengers on 4K. Iron Man 3, also one of the most underrated. Thor: The Dark World. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, arguably one of the best. Guardians of the Galaxy, also arguably one of the best. And then, so the next bit, as we move in to the rest of Phase 2. Oh god, I really haven't organised this well. Avengers Age of Ultron. Ant-Man. Captain America Civil War. This is actually the 4K. I just kept the regular Blu-ray cover because it was pretty cool. I quite like that slip cover. So I kept that. Doctor Strange. I'd also say is fairly underrated. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Spider-Man Homecoming. One of my personal favourites in the MCU. Thor Ragnarok. Black Panther. Avengers Infinity War. Ant-Man and the Wasp, maybe one of my least favourites. Captain Marvel. Avengers Endgame, maybe my favourite MCU movie overall, just in terms of pure enjoyment. This movie is just endlessly rewatchable. And the most recent MCU film, Spider-Man Far From Home. So that's the MCU. Now moving over here to the X-Men. We have the X-Men collection on 4K, so this is the original X-Men trilogy. I've actually not seen the majority of these. The only one I've actually seen is X-Men The Last Stand, so I actually need to go and catch up on these. But from what I've heard, they are, you know, superhero classics. Then we move over here. We have X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is a really bad movie, but there is enjoyment in it, I guess. I know someone who loves that movie. X-Men First Class, which is my personal favourite X-Men movie. The Wolverine, pretty decent. X-Men Days of Future Past, also pretty fun. That's Apocalypse. Oh, there it is. X-Men Apocalypse, which has moved for some reason. I like Apocalypse, I think it's quite fun. Deadpool, a movie I think is slightly overrated, but I do enjoy it. Fan 4-Stick, don't ask me why I own this. I bought it when it came out and I've never watched it. I watched it when it came out in cinemas. I think the movie's... it's not good. I think it's okay. It's got some redeeming qualities, I think. And then finally, we have Logan, probably my second favourite X-Men movie. Love that one. Deadpool 2. Really like Deadpool 2. Like I said, Deadpool 1 was a bit overrated. Deadpool 2, way, way better. I really like Deadpool 2 a lot. And then X-Men Dark Phoenix, which I actually really enjoyed. This movie got a lot of hate. This is the 4K, and this was like an exclusive slipcover we got here in the UK at a certain store. But I actually really liked Dark Phoenix. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it was severely hated on. Now, as we move down here, we're going to move over into the DCEU now, which obviously I recently did a ranking video of, so you can check that out. Man of Steel, yeah, Man of Steel's okay. I think it's got some good moments, but I also think it's got some bad ones as well. Batman v Superman, quite an enjoyable movie to be honest, especially when you get the ultimate cut, but it is far too long, and I do have a lot of issues with it. Suicide Squad, I really like Suicide Squad. I think that movie's fun. My slipcover is absolutely destroyed, but I do really like this movie. I actually might get that on 4K, to be honest with you. Here we have Wonder Woman, really great movie. We have... What came... Oh, yeah, that one. Justice League on 4K. Obviously, we are getting the Snyder Cut very soon, so this is basically irrelevant. But, yeah, I kind of enjoyed Justice League for what it was. It's not very good. I think it's a bit generic, but it was enjoyable. Aquaman. I actually want to rewatch this, because I've seen it twice, and I still don't know how I feel about it. Then we have Shazam, which is my favorite DC movie. Well, DCEU movie. Love Shazam. And then we move over into Star Wars. We have the Star Wars prequels. And we also have Star Wars, the original trilogy, which are obviously just classics. Some of my favorite movies of all time. Star Wars, the Clone Wars movie, which, fun fact for you, this was the very first Blu-ray I ever owned. And, yeah, I mean, this movie's not great. It does lead into the series-ish, but it's not that great, really. It's a bit boring, to be honest. Star Wars The Force Awakens, which I absolutely love. I really want this movie to get a 4K release because I feel like it deserves it. I don't really care for upgrading the older films to 4K, to be honest, just because I can't imagine they're going to be that amazing. I just really want The Force Awakens on 4K, and the only way you can get that currently is in the new box set, which is really expensive. Star Wars Rogue One, which is probably my least favorite Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi, love The Last Jedi. Yes, I love The Last Jedi. Solo, I also really enjoyed on the most recent rewatch. I actually really enjoyed Solo. That was a lot of fun. And the most recent Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, which, I'm sorry, I still love this movie. I've watched it like 5 times now and I still love it. Then here we have the Harry Potter collection. I've actually never really seen these. I've seen like bits of them, but not really all of them. I need to sit down and watch these. I am actually going to the Harry Potter studio. Well, it might not be this year now due to everything that's happened, but it might be next year now. But I am going at some point, and I want to catch up on the movies before I go. And now we move into the alphabetical. So now we're starting from the alpha. So now we're in A. Here we have American Psycho. Pretty decent movie that I really enjoy. Arrival, as you guys know, Denis Villeneuve, my favorite director of all time. Love Arrival, fantastic film. The Accountant. I really like this movie. I remember when it came out, I was really, really excited about it, and I thought it was really good. American Made, which I quite like. Attack the Block. A Star is Born, one of my favorite movies of 2018. American Animals, an underrated gem from 2018. Aladdin and the Aladdin remake, which unpopularly, and I'm going to get hated for this, I actually like the remake more. I'm sorry, but I do. I didn't grow up with the original. So A Quiet Place. I'm very much looking forward to the sequel to that. I was literally like before the lockdown, I was literally about to see the sequel to this a week like after the lockdown, so I was so close to seeing the sequel and then it was snatched away from me. Avatar. I actually really like Avatar. It's quite fun. Blind Spotting, amazing film, really unique, really awesome. If you've not seen that, check it out. It's really good. Blade Runner, this is obviously the final cut. This is the version you want. Like, if you've never seen Blade Runner and you want to know which version to get, it's the final cut. That's the one you want. But obviously, incredible film and inspired the sequel, which is my favorite movie of all time. We'll get to that. Blockers, awesome. Really surprising comedy, actually. I thought this was going to be dreadful, and it was actually really good. Book Club, I just saw this movie when it came out, and I just kind of adored it. Like, it's just such a sweet movie, and it's really genuinely quite funny, and Diane Keaton's awesome, so, you know, I had to get it on Blu-ray. I got it so cheap as well. Burning, oh, I love Burning. This movie's so good. If you haven't seen this, please check it out. It's really awesome. It's a Korean film. The director is Lee Chang-dong, and it's just an epic mystery. I was so on the edge of my seat with this one. It's so engaging, so entertaining. Really great film. Bleed for This, a really interesting boxing movie with Miles Teller. I think this is a lot of fun. I enjoy that. And the 4K Bohemian Rhapsody. I enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody. I watched it a couple times. I think it's quite fun. Yeah, it's not amazing or anything, but I think it's pretty decent. I just have a massive, you can't see it, but I've just got like a massive menagerie of Blu-rays down there now. Okay, let's move into more Bs. I literally got this movie yesterday. Bad Boys for Life, my favourite movie of 2020 thus far. Obviously it's not had a lot of competition, but it is there. Unfortunately with my shelves I have to kind of move them around a bit to actually access them. Baywatch, I don't care what anyone says, this movie's a great time. It's so much fun. I've watched it many, many times. The Big Sick, I really like this movie, and this just adds to my disappointment with The Lovebirds, because I was really excited to check this out, and it didn't come anywhere close to this. Baby Driver, probably one of my favourite movies of all time. I adore this film, I've watched it so many times. And then here we have a couple of different editions of Blade Runner 2049, which, as you guys know, is my favourite movie of all time. This is just the regular 4K, which is one of the most stunning 4Ks I've ever seen. And this is like a special edition Blu-ray, which comes with some postcards and some art cards and stuff like that. And this also is the 4K edition as well. So really cool editions of Blade Runner 2049, which, you know, I had to get them. Favourite movie of all time and everything. And here we have the Back to the Future trilogy, one of my favourite trilogies in cinema. These films are just endless, they're just so enjoyable and endlessly rewatchable. I can go back to them anytime. If you say to me, do you want to watch Back to the Future, I will always say yes. Black Clansmen, really like this film. This was my first Spike Lee joint, and I had a great time with it. Obviously, it's Adam Driver as well, my favourite actor. The Batman Anthology, these are just kind of movies you need to own, really. I mean, the first Batman I quite like. Batman Returns, I'm not a huge fan of. Batman Forever is really bad, and then Batman and Robin is horrendous, but very much enjoyable. So, yeah, bit of a mixed bag, that one. The Batman Animated Collection, I've actually not seen any of them yet. I've owned that for years, though. I've actually not checked it out. Bumblebee, which, as you guys know, if you saw my Transformers ranking from the other day, I adore this movie. I love all the Transformers movies, so yeah, that was a great time. Really like that one. Moving into the Seas, Charlie's Angels, the most recent. I really like this movie. I had a great time with it. I think it's really enjoyable. It's just a fun action thriller. Well, thriller might be a stretch, but a fun action movie with awesome lead characters. So, you know, I think that movie was definitely unnecessarily hated on. Crazy Rich Asians, really enjoyable comedy. I always go back to this quite often. I've watched it a few times. Ugh, you're all falling over. Here we have Creed. Love Creed. I'm not necessarily a Rocky fan. I've not really seen the Rocky movies. You will see the Rocky movies come up later, though. But I adore Creed. I thought it was such a fantastic movie. Collateral, Steelbook. Love Collateral. This is maybe my favourite Tom Cruise performance. Just a really exciting and dark action film I really enjoy. Chronicle, watched this very recently. This was the, of course, directorial debut of Josh Trank. Love this film. Really well made. Really awesomely made. It's a shame that Josh Trank has kind of maybe gone downhill since then. I mean, obviously he made Fantastic Four, which wasn't great, and I've heard not amazing things about Capone, but I still really like this movie, and we can still hold on to this one. Colossal, really underrated film from 2017. People don't really talk about this. Just a really unique concept and a really funny comedy with some good drama in it as well. Central Intelligence, kind of like Baywatch. I just kind of enjoy these. Like, I enjoy these kind of silly studio comedies. And yeah, I've watched this one a few times. To be honest, I quite enjoy it. And over here we have Daddy's Home 2. Weirdly enough, I've never seen the original Daddy's Home. I've only ever seen this one. And I just enjoy this movie. Like, this is a Christmas movie. I literally have watched this both Christmases now since it's come out. And yeah, I have a great time with it. I just think it's got some really funny moments in it. The Dead Don't Die, the Jim Jarmusch film. I really like this a lot. This film was not very well received. I actually really enjoyed it. I think it was very funny. I think it's just my style of humour. Because I'm British, I have a very dry sense of humour. So I think that the dry humour in this movie really worked for me. And obviously, again, it's got Adam Driver. Tilda Swinton kind of steals the movie. So that was really fun. That was really enjoyable. David Brent, Life on the Road. I'm a huge Ricky Gervais fan. And I love The Office, like The Office UK. I absolutely love. And obviously, this is his character from The Office. This movie is fine. It's alright. It's kind of what I thought it was going to be. Like, there was a lot of hype surrounding it from Office fans, but it wasn't that good. It was kind of just alright. Django Unchained, I've actually not seen this. I'm going to do a big Tarantino watch. I own all of Tarantino's movies except for Death Proof, but I am going to go through and watch them all very soon. Well, I have seen some Tarantino movies. I've seen Reservoir Dogs, I've seen Kill Bill Volume 1, and I've also seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I haven't seen the rest. Drive, obviously this is quite an iconic movie. I really like Drive, actually. It's really good. I didn't really expect to like it as much as I did, but I think it's just got such a sense of style. I can see why some people don't like this movie. I can see why some people see it as boring. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good time. Deepwater Horizon. Not actually seen this all the way through. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I I don't really like this movie that much. I don't really know why I own it, to be honest. I kind of have it because I have all of them. You'll see them all pop up here, but it's definitely the weakest of the trilogy, in my opinion. I think it's just because I don't care for the human cast in this one at all. I think they're really dull, really boring. And I think like that movie just doesn't have as much going for it as the other ones do. Dunkirk, from obviously Christopher Nolan. Awesome film, really exciting, really well made, and excellent 4K as well. This was the first 4K I ever watched, and it was great. Things are just falling down over there. Dread, awesome action film, love it. The Disaster Artist, as a huge fan of The Room, this movie was everything I wanted and more. 8th Grade. 8th Grade, maybe the most relatable movie I've ever seen for me personally. That's just a really, really awesome film. Here we have Enemy, another film from Denis Villeneuve, and maybe my second favourite, my third favourite or second favourite, I'm not too sure. But an amazing performance from Jake and a great mystery movie overall. End of Watch, fantastic film, found footage style, really unique, really interestingly made. And again, another fantastic performance from Jake and also Michael Pena as well. Edge of Tomorrow, awesome action film. The Festival, I really like this movie. This is from the same guys who made The Inbetweeners, and it does star obviously Simon from The Inbetweeners. Pretty dumb British comedy, but I like British comedy, so I enjoy that. Sorry, not the tripod there. Here we have The Florida Project, fantastic film. I really wish I could have seen this in cinema because it's so bright and colourful, and just so beautiful. Really, I really enjoy that film a lot. Fisherman's Friends, another kind of British drama comedy movie. I enjoy it. It's a bit sappy, and I can see why there are people who kind of hate that style of movie, but I kind of enjoy them sometimes. It depends on what it is. That one in particular kind of surprised me. First Man. This is an awesome film from Damien Chazelle. Really love this. It's not my favorite Damien Chazelle film. It's probably my least favorite out of the 3 that he's made. But still an excellent film nonetheless. I think it was actually a bit underrated, actually. Okay, now we're moving down onto this shelf over here. You just bear with me a minute while I maneuver these Blu-rays around. Here we have The Farewell. Obviously, I do have a review on this somewhere. The Farewell is an amazing film, so emotional and so well written, so well acted. Fruitvale Station. This movie really got me. Like when I watched this, I cried my eyes out at the end of this movie. It really took me by surprise by how like emotional it was. So I honestly have a place in my heart for that movie. Fighting with My Family, adore this film. So much fun. You know, this is what introduced me to Florence Pugh, who's one of my favorite actresses. Directed by Stephen Merchant, who of course is from The Office. So I really enjoy this. I think it's really awesome. Here we have Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Weirdly, this isn't with the reason why this isn't with the other Fast and Furious films is because we'll get to them later. They're elsewhere. Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I kind of don't really consider it, I don't want to be with that person, but I kind of don't really consider it canon in Fast and Furious just because it's so different and it feels so odd at this point. But it is an enjoyable action movie, even though it's incredibly over the top. The Founder. And now we're going into G's. Good Time from the Safdies. I'm just having Blu-rays falling over the place. The Gentleman, one of my favourites of the year so far. I haven't even opened that yet. The Last G's. Green Lantern. I don't hate Green Lantern. I think it's okay. Green Book. As much as this movie gets a lot of hate, and yeah, it's a little generic, and I guess it shouldn't have won Best Picture, but I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good. Yeah, maybe it shouldn't have won Best Picture against like The Favourite or Roma, but it was really good. I kind of wanted Black Klansman to win, to be honest. Game Night, really surprising comedy that shouldn't have been as good as it was, but it genuinely was great. The Great Wall, a pretty bad movie, but to be honest, I really enjoy it, and it's just a visually pleasing movie to me. I like all the colours of the armours and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. Going in Style, again, this is just one of those comedies I really enjoy. And it's got a great cast. I genuinely found it quite funny, so I have watched it a few times as well. Now we move into H's. Hacksaw Ridge, my favourite war movie. Super impactful, super emotional. I've watched it many times. And Andrew Garfield's best performance, maybe. Either that or Social Network, don't really know. Hell or High Water, great movie. Hellboy, not seen this. After watching the Hellboy reboot, I was completely put off. Her. Oh, this is a fantastic film, and this is my best friend's. Well, this is one of my best friend's favorite movies. It's up there for her, and this film is just fantastic. Really well done. Happy Death Day, stupidly fun horror movie that I will always be down to watch, and to go along with that, Happy Death Day to You as well, which somehow went even more crazy and more bonkers than the first one. Here we have How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. Probably DreamWorks' best films, really. They're not my favourite, but probably the best. The Hunger Games films, I've actually not seen these. I've owned them for years. Halloween, iconic horror movie, awesome. I still haven't seen the most recent one, I need to go check that out. Headshot, the Eco Waste film, so much fun. The Handmaiden, this is actually my best friend's favourite movie of all time. I want to go back and rewatch this because I didn't really get into it. I found it a bit on the boring side, but I think that's just because I was very tired when I watched it, so I'm going to go back and check this out at some point. And also because I know I annoyed my friend when I said I didn't really like it that much. The Hateful Eight, again, this is one of the Tarantino movies. I own it, but I've not seen it. Howard the Duck, I can't believe this got like this level of Blu-ray release in the UK, but an hilariously bad superhero movie from the 80s, and it's kind of just a movie to go back to every now and then. Oh, I didn't realise this was in here. The Gavin and Stacey Christmas Special on DVD. This is the one that came out last year. I love Gavin and Stacey, so I had to own that. It Chapter 1. It Chapter 2. Like the It movies a lot. I think they're both really good together. Instant Family. Really like that. The Indiana Jones movies, up there with Star Wars and Back to the Future, are some of my favourite classics. Inception. Incredible film. I watched that quite recently, actually. Oh, everything's fallen down. No. Okay, we'll fix that later. Interstellar, one of the only Nolan films I've actually not seen yet. Joker. Yeah, I mean, this movie's kind of gone down for me as time goes on, but I still enjoy it. I still think it's pretty decent. Yeah, I enjoy it. Just go with it. I kind of grew up with this movie. I watched it many, many times growing up, and I think it's one of Adam Sandler's better films, probably. And then we have The In-Betweeners 1 and 2. The fact that they're on Blu-ray just means I have to own them, because I love them. Okay, let's move these up. What letter were we up to? J. H-I-J-K. H-I-J. J's all the way down here. As I said, I may cut this or I may not. I don't know. See how I feel at the time. Here we have Jurassic World on 4K. I actually really like Jurassic World. It's fun. And Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I'm kind of mixed on that one. I need to watch it again, really. John Wick, awesome action film, obviously. And then we have the rest of the series. John Wick 2, which I don't love John Wick 2. And John Wick 3 started out really good, but it kind of goes on too long, and I'm not a fan of the final fight. I think John Wick 3 weirdly de-escalates as the movie goes on. Kingsman: The Secret Service, I put this up there, one of my favourite movies of all time. Love this film. And Kingsman: The Golden Circle isn't very good, but I do enjoy it. It's nowhere near as good as the first, but I do like it. H-I-J-K. So K, we have Knives Out. This is that beautiful steelbook. If you've seen my most recent haul, you would have seen this. Awesome film, one of my favourites from last year, and an incredible steelbook. Thank you to my best friend for buying this for me. It was awesome. H-I-J-K-L. L. Oh. Here we have La La Land. Incredible film, amazing music, fantastic performances. Little Monsters made it into my top 10 last year, and I really enjoyed that movie a lot. And Legend, speaking of Tom Hardy with Capone, this is also where he plays two roles. Actually a really good movie. I watched this a few years ago, but it was really, really good. I kind of want to revisit it, because it was really, really good, actually. Here we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. One of my biggest sins as a film fan. I've never seen these, and to be honest, I have little to no intention to. I don't think I'll like them. It's not my genre, I'm afraid. The fantasy genre isn't really me. Then here we have The Lion King, which, unlike Aladdin, the animation is far superior to the live action. I did not like the live action one at all, hence why I don't own it. But The Lion King 4K, amazing film, probably one of the best animated films of all time. And even as someone who watched it at the age of 18, I still really loved it. Logan Lucky, I really like this movie. I think this is quite underrated, and I go back to it a lot. And again, it's Adam Driver. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., a Guy Ritchie film that really stood out to me. It's cool. It's a cool little spy thriller. It's pretty fun. I think it's on Netflix now in the UK, so you can check that out. Here we have some DreamWorks movies. We have the Madagascar trilogy and Megamind. Mamma Mia. And Mamma Mia, here we go again. Probably the worst steelbook I own. I don't even know why I own this. Like the steelbook. I own the movie because I like those films, but that steelbook is awful. I regret buying that. Mission Impossible collection, that's 1 to 5. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I ranked them fairly recently as well, so you can check that out. And there's Mission Impossible Fallout, one of my favourite steelbooks. Midsummer, second favourite movie of last year. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Again, a very silly comedy, but I enjoy it. Magnificent Seven. Mother, not seen this. Mad Max Fury Road, an amazing slipcover and an amazing movie. Mile 22, really bad, but I enjoy it. It's a fun little action movie. Molly's Game, Aaron Sorkin's debut. Monsters vs. Aliens, it's a childhood movie. Need for Speed, a big guilty pleasure of mine. The Nightmare Before Christmas, I've actually not seen this. Nightcrawler, another amazing Jake Gyllenhaal performance and a fantastic film, really great. And The Night in the Museum trilogy, these are childhood movies, well the first two were. I don't care for the third one, but the first two I really love. Then we have The Nice Guys, one of the best films of 2016. Office Christmas Party, similarly to Daddy's Home 2, I kind of watch this every year, I just find it very enjoyable. It's a fun little Christmas movie. The Oceans Trilogy, not really seen these to be honest. And Nocturnal Animals, amazing film. I can't believe Tom Ford is directing, but this is such a stylistic film, such amazing performances, great mystery, really love this. I was surprised by this. When I watched this the first time, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really did. And then, I don't know why this is here, because this should be in the S section, but I have the Shrek collection just here for some reason. Right, and with all that said, I'm going to go and move over to the other side of the room where my other shelf is, because that's where this is going to continue. So we're going to have a cut here, and then we'll go from here. Okay, so I've now moved into the next section of Blu-rays. Now, this is going to be very jumbled. I've had to sort of move stuff around, so the alphabetized order has kind of gone out the window. So I do apologize for that. Miss Sloane, yeah, it's okay. I liked it at the time, but... The Shape of Water. Tomb Raider, fun movie. Non-Stop, I didn't love Non-Stop. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, I mainly wanted to watch this because it's Ben Stiller and I love him. This movie it's decent, but it's not amazing. Three Identical Strangers, amazing documentary. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Ted 2. And I have got Ted 1, but again, it's somewhere in here. The Martian. Planes 1 and 2. Which we haven't got to the Pixar collection yet, but Cars is one of my favorite. Like the first Cars movie is like my childhood film, so of course I like the Planes movies. Here we have another one of my favorite franchises, actually, The Purge. So we have The Purge and Purge Anarchy. I did a ranking of these fairly recently. The Purge Election Year, and my favorite, The First Purge. And then we have Pain and Glory, not seen this yet. And then we have all of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, which, you know, is a decent franchise. They kind of get worse as they go on, but it's a decent franchise. And then we move over here. We have The Shining, iconic horror movie as well. Straight Outta Compton, really enjoyable biopic. Had a good time with that one. Rampage, I'm going to sell this. Ray, another fantastic biopic. I didn't know they made this until I found it, and I was very much pleased with it. I like Ray Charles a lot. Pacific Rim, really great action film, which unfortunately was let down by an abysmal sequel. Pitch Perfect 3, again, I do own Pitch Perfect 1 and 2 somewhere, but we'll get to them. Pitch Perfect 3, I'll probably sell this. I don't really care for this movie. I thought it went way too over the top. Overlord. Sorry. Overlord. I really enjoyed this movie when it came out, and then I've never really gone back to it, so I don't really know what that says. Only the Brave, another fantastic film. Sorry. Yeah, we're jumping all over the letters here. Overdrive, a really obvious Fast and Furious ripoff, but it's kind of enjoyable. Oceans 8, even though I've not seen the Oceans Trilogy, I have seen Oceans 8, and this movie is a great time. I really like Oceans 8. I've watched it many times, it's very enjoyable. Oldboy, I've technically not seen this, but I feel like I have, because I kind of watched like an in-depth essay of it randomly. But I will get around to watching this at some point. Maybe I should watch that and The Handmaiden together. Zombieland, really, it's a good movie. I don't have the same love for it that a lot of people do. I think it's okay. Patriots Day, really love this film. It's fantastic. I think it's probably Mark Wahlberg's best performance. Although I've not seen, everything Mark Wahlberg has done. One of my biggest sort of... I always have a go that this movie didn't make enough money because it totally deserved to. Power Rangers. Yeah, this movie might not be anything amazing, but it was so much fun, and I love this film. I really wish this would have got a sequel, because apparently they're talking about a reboot. I want this cast. I don't want a reboot. I want this cast. But they won't do it. Here we have Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. Even though I don't care about Pitch Perfect 3, I do like the first movie and the second movie. I think they're fun. The Prestige, my favourite Christopher Nolan movie. Amazing film about the magicians. Magicians. Prisoners, Denis Villeneuve. I really love this film. It's dark, it's depressing. You have to be in the right frame of mind to watch it because it's very dark. But still doesn't take away from how amazing it is. And over here, we have Revenge, a beautifully violent action film. It's so enjoyable. It's wild, though. Wild, but it is enjoyable. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is my favourite of the trilogy. I don't think they ever topped this first one. Really great stuff. I just love the connection between him and James Franco in the movie. Raw. Not seen this. Even though I may have said I had in the past, I've actually not seen this. Spotlight. I really like Spotlight. I was very disappointed by Dark Waters because it was nowhere near as good as this. But Spotlight's pretty good. I think it's a very enjoyable film for what it is. Like, given the subject matter of what it tackles, I think it's quite enjoyable. Split, awesome film, really enjoyable. Obviously, the secret sequel to Unbreakable, but really fun, really enjoyable. I like that movie a lot. Then we move over here. We have Star Trek 1 and 2. As someone who doesn't really care for Star Trek, like I'm not really a Star Trek guy, I really like these films a lot. I think like this sort of Star Trek trilogy, including Star Trek Beyond, is really cool. Star Trek Beyond is my favourite out of the trilogy, probably, and then the original, and then my least favourite is Into Darkness. Social Network, such an engaging film, so well performed, amazing characters, just a fantastic film. I was so blown away by this. And then over here we have Superbad. Obviously, it's like a classic comedy. Yeah, it never fails to make me laugh. Superbad, like especially McLovin, always endlessly funny. Shoplifters, not seen this yet. Very excited to check it out though. Sicario, amazing film from Denis Villeneuve, of course, and this is one of the best 4Ks ever I've heard. I've not actually checked it out myself, but I will eventually. Everything's fallen over. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World from Edgar Wright, super fun, super enjoyable, really unique, really well made. And Sing Street, probably nearly my favourite movies of all time. It's probably up there. Just really surprising, really sweet, really charming. Just a really genuinely quite good film. Oh, I need to move all this stuff. Oh, and it all just fell over again. I'll sort that later. Right, as we move all this over. Here we have the Spider-Man Trilogy. This is the Raimi Trilogy. I've not watched these in a long time. I watched these a few years ago. I kind of want to go back and check them out. Obviously, so many people have such great nostalgia for these films. I don't, but you know, I think they're okay, from what I remember. The Amazing Spider-Man, I actually think is really underrated. I really enjoy that film a lot. I actually think it's quite good. The ending's not amazing, but I think it's quite decent all the way through. Amazing Spider-Man 2, I want to go check this out again because I've only seen it once and I don't really remember it much. I kind of want to watch both of the Amazing Spider-Man films. We have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, one of the best Spider-Man films. Really good, really enjoyable, super unique. This is a steelbook and this is the regular edition because I got the steelbook when it first came out and then I didn't really like the steelbook initially, so then I bought the regular 4K and now the steelbook's kind of grown on me, so now I just have 2 copies. But yeah, it's a super great film, really awesome. Maybe a tad underrated, but pretty good. The Superman collection, not really seen any of these to be honest. It's kind of one of my sins as a comic book fan, not really seen them. Searching, love this film, so good, such a great mystery, and super well made as well. This basically takes what Unfriended tried to do, but actually does it well. And it's quite unique in that way. And then we have the Terminator films, which I bought these just before Terminator Dark Fate came out, because I was going to catch up on them. Ultimately, I didn't catch up on them, and ultimately I didn't end up seeing Terminator Dark Fate, so I will get around to them at some point, and then I'll watch Terminator Dark Fate, and then I would have seen all of them. Here we have Triple Threat, one of my favourites from last year. This is the Avengers for martial arts actors, and it's such a good time. Like, Iko Uwais is amazing, Michael Jai White's amazing, why can't I remember his name? Scott Adkins is amazing in this. Just a fantastic film. Super enjoyable, fun action. Here we have, funnily enough, these are next to each other. I'd say these are probably my 2 favourite comedies of all time. Or, well, maybe not of all time, but they're definitely up there. They're definitely up there. I really enjoy these. This Is the End. A friend showed this to me, and I was just blown away by it. It's so funny. I love how all the actors basically just play the kind of stereotypical versions of themselves. Like, they play the versions of themselves that kind of Hollywood perceive them as. Like, Jonah Hill is, like, really pretentious, and Michael Cera is meant to be, like, this absolute asshole. And I really enjoy that. I think it's a really funny movie. Like, it genuinely, like, got many big laughs out of me. And also so did Tropic Thunder. As I said, I love Ben Stiller, and this movie is just hilarious. Like, the lengths this movie goes to is really funny. Robert Downey's great in this. It's just such a funny concept for a film, and the lengths it goes to, it just gets bigger and bigger, and I love it. Top Gun, one of my favorites of all time. So excited for Top Gun Maverick. But this movie is just a classic. I could watch this over and over again. Such a fun movie. And obviously, I've mentioned very recently in my most recent ranking video about my love for the Transformers films. Transformers Dark of the Moon, my favorite Transformers film, one of my favorites of all time. This is a steelbook. This is actually the second Blu-ray I ever owned. So Star Wars: The Clone Wars was the first. Transformers Dark of the Moon is the second. I was just in love with this movie, and I love this steelbook. It's really nice. I still, you know, I don't need that Blu-ray anymore, but I've just kept it through all these years. Train to Busan, one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. Super great. Top Gear Greatest Hits. This is just a collection from the Top Gear TV show here in the UK, which I was a big fan of. Obviously, I don't really watch it anymore after these 3 left. I watch the Grand Tour on Amazon now, but still, it's still good to go back to. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. I kind of enjoy these. You know, they're kind of like Transformers in a way. They kind of have similar vibes. And this one's got Stephen Amell in it, so of course I'm gonna watch it and like it. And I showed it earlier, and I said I've got it in here somewhere. The original Ted. I like Ted. I don't really like Ted 2 that much, but I like Ted. Us. I actually really enjoy Us. I think it's pretty good. Venom. as bad and cringy as it may be, it is enjoyable for what it is. The Villainess, a fantastic action film from Korea. This is really fun, and I was actually surprised by how enjoyable this was. It's very violent, it's got a great story, great cast, really awesome film. Wind River, fantastic mystery thriller. What We Do in the Shadows, this is a Taika film, not seen this yet. And then down here we have War Dogs, the film that Todd Phillips made before Joker. Really like this film, actually. So very much surprised me. Whiplash, my favourite Damien Chazelle film. Triple X, A Return of Xander Cage. Absolute shite, but I enjoy it. it's so fun. Like, funny story about this movie. Like, when I watched this in cinemas, I watched it in IMAX, and I watched it really late on a Monday night, and I had the entire IMAX screen to myself. That's how little people cared about this movie. but it made my experience all that much better because I could laugh as loud as I wanted. Zero Dark 30, really great film from Catherine Bigelow. Great story, really intense. Zodiac, actually not seen this yet. Very excited to check that out though. War for the Planet of the Apes. I really liked this when it came out, but it's kind of gone down for me. Like the Planet of the Apes movies as a whole, I haven't really had the desire to go back to besides the first one. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with this. Anyway, I need to move some more Blu-rays over here. Okay, so some more Blu-rays here, and this is actually, the reason why this is particularly very jumbled is because these are actually the movies that are in my sell pile. So these are films that I'm thinking of selling or are likely going to sell once the pandemic is over. Except for this one, the Jurassic Park trilogy. The only reason why I'm selling this is because it's damaged. So I will get a new version of this. But obviously, the Jurassic Park. I just need a new one. The Death of Superman. I don't care about the DC animated movies, to be honest. I've never really been impressed by any of them, except for this one. This one was genuinely quite good, but it's just, I don't really care for it. Free Fire, really enjoyable film, but again, I just don't really care for it all that much. The Favourite, fantastic film, probably should have won Best Picture. I'm still thinking about selling this one, I'm not too sure. Over here, If Beale Street Could Talk, really great film, super emotional, great score. It Comes at Night, fantastic horror film, really surprising, and genuinely quite different than what you might expect. Hunt for the Wilder People, I really like this movie, but it wasn't as amazing as I'd hoped it would be. Ex Machina, really great film, it just didn't really do it for me. Like, I know, sorry, got a bit of an interruption there. I know a lot of people love this movie, but I just don't really care for it all that much. Just didn't really do it for me. Moonlight, fantastic film, beautifully shot, great score, fantastic performances. I just don't really know if I really want to own it. Why Him, good comedy, I've watched it a couple times, I just don't really know how many times I can watch it again. 12 Strong, this actually isn't in the sell pile, I actually really like this movie, this actually shouldn't be in the sell pile. The Lego Movie, I really like the Lego Movie, but as time's gone on, it's just kind of gotten worse for me, and ultimately I just don't really care for it that much, and I don't really like the other Lego movies, so... Leave No Trace, I thought this was a decent watch, but I definitely don't really care to watch it again. High Life, I was excited to check this out, but I just found it really boring, to be honest. Didn't really care for it. Birdman is a really great film, but again, just didn't really do it for me. Cold Pursuit, one of the funniest films of last year. I don't really know if I should put this in the sell pile. I kind of want to rewatch it, but I kind of just want to keep it for certain times. Bad Boys 1 and 2, despite what I said about Bad Boys for Life, which is my favourite movie of the year so far, Bad Boys 1 and 2, I enjoyed them, but I just don't really care to own them, really. Like, I don't think I'd ever watch them again, whereas Bad Boys for Life, I could see myself consistently rewatching. American Assassin, this was actually a really fun movie, but again, I don't really know if I care to own it. Like, it was a one-time watch, really. Collateral, obviously, I just don't need this anymore. Like, I own that really nice steelbook, so I don't really need it. Incendie, obviously a Denis Villeneuve film. I don't need this. You'll see another version of this in a minute. I just don't need this movie anymore. I've got a better version. Same goes for Patterson. This is also one of my favourite movies of all time. I have a nicer version of this now, so I just don't need it. The Meg Steelbook. This movie is enjoyable, but again, I don't really know how much enjoyment you can really get out of that film. Widows. I really liked Widows when it came out, but as time's gone on, and I even rewatched it recently, it just, I don't know. Don't really need it. Bad Times at the El Royale, same thing. Really enjoyed it, but I don't really know if I need it. Not anymore. Grand Budapest Hotel, really good. I want to check this out again. I want to rewatch this. This is one that I may not sell. We'll see. Detroit, similarly to Zero Dark 30, it's really good, and I do want to check this out again as well. It's got really good performances, and it's genuinely quite intense. So there's genuinely some like kind of scary moments in it. Climax, one of the most insane and wild films I've ever seen. Like, I really enjoyed this when I watched it the first time, just out of morbid curiosity, because it's so bizarre and it's so out there. I just don't really know how many times I personally can watch it. Like, it's not a sort of movie that I can get enjoyment out of, like, that much. Like I said, like, I enjoyed it, but I don't know how much enjoyment I can get out of it over a long-term basis, so I'm still thinking about this. I kind of want to check it out again. Argo. Everyone loves Argo. I found it a tad boring, but again, I kind of want to rewatch it, so we'll see. And we move over here. We have The Wolf of Wall Street. It's a great film, and I did enjoy it. I just have only ever seen it once and haven't really had much desire to go back. Hidden Figures. I do want to rewatch this because it was genuinely quite good. Get Out is really good. I do think it's better than Us, but I found Us a bit more enjoyable. I'd definitely be more in the mood to rewatch Us more than Get Out. The Bourne movies. I like the Bourne movies. They're just not amazing, really. I just think they're okay. Like, they've never really blown me away. For some reason, this one has a sticky slipcover. Isle of Dogs. Probably my favourite Wes Anderson movie that I've seen. I've not seen many, but out of the ones I've seen, probably my favourite. Again, I just don't really know how much I can really get out of it. In Bruges, really good, really enjoyable, but I feel like it's a one-time watch maybe. I know some people do enjoy this, like I know my best friend loves this movie, and I did enjoy it. Again, I just don't know how many times you can really watch it. Upgrade, really good, really fantastic, great stuff from Lee Winnell. I may watch this again. Unbreakable, I really like Unbreakable, but as time's gone on, it's just kind of gotten worse for me. So, I don't know, I'm not too sure about that one. And Inglourious Bastards, again, I've actually not seen this. Tarantino movie I've not seen. But Tarantino movie I have seen, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This came out last year, of course, and I really liked this movie a lot. Really enjoyed it. That's not on the sell pile. We're out of the sell pile now. These movies are not on the sell pile. Men in Black. I've never seen any of the other Men in Black movies. I've only seen this one. I enjoyed it. Will I watch the other ones? Maybe someday. A couple of DVDs here. We have The Ritual. This doesn't have a Blu-ray, but it's a fantastic horror film, which is why I had to own it. It's great. I was given this as a gift. It was great. In fact, all of these films you're about to see next up are actually all gifts. I didn't buy these. But this was fantastic. I was so happy to own this. And also First Wives Club. Classic 90s comedy. Really good. As I said about Book Club, I really enjoyed Diane Keaton, and this was a great film from her as well. This is like obviously a much more earlier one, but really good. And these don't have Blu-rays, so had to own them on DVD, I'm afraid. Here we have the Fast and Furious 4K collection. Some of my favourite films of all time. It Follows, a film that my friend is desperate for me to check out. I need to definitely add that to my watch list. Booksmart, this actually doesn't have a Blu-ray here in the UK. This is imported from Germany, I believe. But one of my favourite films of last year. Adore this movie. Super good, super relatable. The Room, I can't believe I own this on Blu-ray. Like, this is such a rare Blu-ray, but it's honestly like the pride and joy of my collection. Like, The Room is just so rewatchable for me. Here we have a couple of really nice steelbooks for The Raid and also The Raid 2. Both excellent action films. They are, in my opinion, the best action films ever made. And I showed it before, but I also have this steelbook of Baby Driver. If you saw my Christmas haul from last year, you would have seen a lot of this. Toy Story steelbook. We're still going to get to Pixar. Don't worry. Sicario. And if you're wondering why, like, because obviously I said I was going to get rid of Insomnia and stuff like that because I have doubles. Obviously I do have the Sicario in 4K, but this isn't 4K, so I have the Sicario 4K for that reason. But Plain Archive of Sicario, which if you don't know what Plain Archive is, they do these really nice kind of special edition Blu-rays. So inside of this, there's like a steelbook and there's a bunch of other additional extras and stuff like that, like an art book. So it's a really nice special edition. They're from Korea. They're quite expensive, but if you're really into a certain film and if they have done a version for it, I definitely recommend checking it out. So Sicario, it's a beautiful one, really nice. Also the Plain Archive for Insomnia. So this is like the new version of Insomnia that I have. So I don't need the other one anymore, but a really nice version. Comes with this really interesting and unique red case, which is really nice. So really cool additions for those films. And the last Plain Archive that I own is Patterson, which again, I just don't need the regular Blu-ray anymore. Patterson, really fantastic film. I love it so much. And this has got a really nice steelbook. And then we also have this version of Enemy, which is it actually comes in like a book version. As you can see, it's kind of like a book. And inside of this, there's actually a Blu-ray of Denis Villeneuve's film Polytechnique, which is really difficult to get a hold of. It's quite a rare Blu-ray to find, but a really nice edition. And again, it's kind of like got some really nice stuff on inside the movie. So if you just bear with me one more, I'm going to get some more Blu-rays for you guys. And as we continue on, we're going to move into some box sets here. Here we have the 4K trilogy of the Dark Knight trilogy. Amazing films. The best superhero movies ever made, in my opinion. I mentioned them before. Here we have the Rocky movies. Not seen these yet. I will check these out at some point, of course. I think I would like the Rocky movies. The Tarantino collection. So as you can see, I've just had a bunch of Tarantino movies. So I will do a watch of these at some point. And then I've literally just done a rewatch of these, so if you see my ranking video, you would have seen that. Transformers 4K collection, some of my favourite movies of all time. I adore the Transformers movies. I grew up with these, so I had to own them on 4K. And they're genuinely, these are really good 4Ks as well. They were a really good transfer. They were done really, really well. The Coen Brothers collection, this is actually amazing, like, because this is like 8 or 9 films, and I got it for like 15 quid, down from like, I think it's meant to be like 40 or 50, so this is kind of like an insane box set, and they're kind of all films I need to see, so I've not seen any of them, but I will. And now we move into Pixar. Toy Story 4, it's grown on me a little bit. I was very disappointed by this initially, didn't really like it, but it has grown on me. The Cars Steelbook, love this Steelbook, adore it. You would have seen it in a recent Blu-ray collection. I just adore the Steelbook. It's super, super beautiful. And again, probably, it's maybe up there with like second, third favorite movie of all time. It's my ultimate childhood film, so to get this really nice Steelbook is great. I do have a Cars 2 one on the way. It was meant to be delivered months ago. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know where it is. So I should have a Cars 2 one coming sometime, but so just keep watching my Blu-ray collections, I guess, until it happens. Because I don't know where it is. And then we have the Pixar collection. This is a really nice set. Like, this is obviously meant to be like a toy box from Toy Story. Inside, as you can see, we basically have every single Pixar movie that starts in Toy Story and goes up to Brave. Oh no, sorry, it goes up to Monsters University, so that's up to 2013. So, really nice collection. Really happy with that. I got that at a nice price as well. As we move along here, we have the James Bond collection. So this goes all the way up from Dr. No all the way up to Spectre. This is a beautiful set. Love this. I'm actually currently watching through these for the first time. I'm currently going through these, and I'm really enjoying myself with these films. As a British film fan, I have to watch James Bond. Here we have Kick-Ass 1 and 2. I've not seen Kick-Ass 2, but I do like Kick-Ass 1. 21 and 22 Jump Street. Awesome films. Really good comedies. Some more Pixar films. Cars 3, as I said, I love Cars 3. Absolutely adore it. It might even be, in my opinion, I think Cars 3 might even be better than Cars 1. Coco, I can't actually say I've seen this. I did fall asleep when watching this, but that's only because I watched this on a very bad day, and I was up very, very early that day, and I decided to go watch Coco, and I fell asleep. So that's not because of the movie. I will check this out again. I don't blame the movie for that. It was the wrong day. I shouldn't have gone to the cinema that day. Incredibles 2. Really good. It's not quite as good as the first one, but it's really good. And then these are like a couple of like weird miscellaneous ones sort of here. So DVDs, Brad Status. This doesn't have a Blu-ray. I'll probably try and get a Blu-ray of this at some point, but amazing Ben Stiller movie, amazing performance. Love Simon, really enjoyable. I like this a lot. Over here we have the Wreck-It Ralph collection. Not seen either of these. And Bad Neighbours 1 and 2. I've seen the first one, but not seen the second one. There's loads I've not seen in this collection, as you can see. And then we have... These are just some random ones. As I said earlier, I love Ricky Gervais. I have An Idiot Abroad Season 2 on Blu-ray. I'm trying to get all 3 seasons on Blu-ray, just because I do love this show. Even though they are on Sky and stuff like that, I do just want to own them on Blu-ray, because they just exist, and they're always really cheap. But it's quite they're quite hard to find, so An Idiot Abroad Season 2. I will get all 3 of the seasons. And then speaking of Carl Pilkington, Sick of It, Season 1 on DVD. I've actually not seen this yet, but I will check it out at some point. It's Carl actually doing like an actual scripted drama series, which is interesting. And then I have some Peter Kay stand-up DVDs, which I love. Peter Kay. He's one of my favourite comedians. Really good stuff. So, before we wrap this up, I've actually just got a few more Blu-rays to get from upstairs, which is my TV collection. So I'm just going to bring those downstairs, and then we'll wrap up this video. Okay, so finally we have my TV Blu-rays, which are from upstairs. So again, these are a bit jumbled, so I do apologise. So first off, we have the Marvel Netflix Blu-rays, which they started making, and then they just stopped making them. But Daredevil Season 1, Jessica Jones Season 1, Daredevil Season 2, Luke Cage Season 1, and Iron Fist Season 1. Really, really like the Marvel Netflix series. I think they're all really good. There are obviously worse seasons and better seasons and what have you, but still really good collection, and I'm kind of sad they stopped making the Blu-rays because I enjoyed collecting them. And then, over here, we have my Walking Dead collection. So here we have, oh no, sorry, before we get to that, Westworld Season 1. I've actually not seen this. I bought it on Blu-ray. I will check it out at some point. Here we have Walking Dead 1 to 6, which actually has a couple of signatures on it from cast members of The Walking Dead that I've met over the years. Here we have David Morrissey, who is the governor, which you can probably recognise from his little emoji there. And that is also Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene. I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead Season 7, which is my least favourite season. I was not a fan of Season 7. And I was also not a fan of Season 8. I just own them because I own every season, so I kind of have to. Like, Season 8, I actually stopped watching the show because it broke me that much. I was so bored by that point. But I did come back to watch The Walking Dead Season 9. And Season 9 is actually my favourite season of The Walking Dead. So there you go. And Season 10 is very good as well. I do enjoy Season 10. Okay. Over here. Some more stuff. Ugh. Here we have one of my favourite shows of all time. I don't own Season 1 on Blu-ray for some reason, but I do own Season 2, 3, and 4 of Banshee. Fantastic series. So in love with the show. I always have been. It's just a fantastic series. If you haven't checked out Banshee, please do. It's amazing. Again, I do own Season 1 somewhere, just not on Blu-ray. I couldn't find it. And then here we have Quarry Season 1, which I've not actually seen. This is from the same people who made Banshee, so that's why I've not... that's why I picked it up, but I've not actually seen it yet. Doctor Who Series 11, really nice steelbook. This was actually the first series of Doctor Who I've ever watched, and currently the only series I've watched. I haven't actually watched Season 12 yet, but I actually really like this. I know a lot of Doctor Who fans really don't like this season, but I actually had a great time with it. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. Riverdale Season 1, I own this on DVD. I was really into Riverdale back when it first came out. I've kind of sort of grown out of it now, but I did really like it when it first came out, so I did buy this DVD at the time. And I still, like, I think back and I enjoyed Riverdale at the time. Glee Season 1, love Glee, I always have done. Glee's amazing. I've always enjoyed Glee. And I got this really cheap. I got this for £1 at CEX, so you can't really argue with them prices. Gotham Season 4, and I also do own... Here it is. I have Gotham Season 1 to 3 and Season 4. I've never actually watched this... Well, I've watched some of Gotham Season 1. I haven't watched the show all the way through. I do intend to do so, though. I don't know. It never really wowed me, but I do want to go back to it. Okay. And then, finally, here's the last bit now. This is my Arrowverse collection. Now, I love the Arrowverse. I adore it. I basically collect every single Arrowverse Blu-ray. Now, these are all completely jumbled. These aren't in order, so I'm just going to have to go through them. But yes, so this is my Arrowverse collection. The only ones I don't own here are Arrow Season 1, 2, 3, and also The Flash Season 1. I do own them, but they are currently with a friend. I gave them to a friend for them to check out, so I currently don't own them. But I do own them. Oh, that's heavy. Okay. Supergirl Season 4. Decent season. Started out really poorly, but ended really well. Legend Season 3. God tier. Arrow Season 7, which just for a bit of context, like Arrow, some of you will know, is my favourite show of all time. I adore Arrow. And the Arrowverse I just adore as a whole. Season 7, I quite enjoy. Flash Season 5, started well, middle's boring, ends well. Freedom Fighters The Ray on DVD. This was like a spin-off, one-off shoot that they did. Not that great. It was okay. Black Lightning Season 1, fantastic. It's really a shame that they've stopped doing Black Lightning on Blu-ray, because Season 2 only got a DVD release. But I probably will pick that up at some point, just for the collection of it. Flash Season 4, probably the worst season of The Flash, but still is pretty decent. It's alright, I enjoy it. Supergirl Season 3, probably the best season of Supergirl. The Invasion crossover, they do release the crossovers individually on DVD, so this is the Invasion one. Really fun crossover. That was the first crossover where they were really like, okay, let's do this. Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, really good season. Supergirl Season 2, not bad. Arrow Season 6 does have some really poor storylines in it, but it has also got some really enjoyable stuff in it, so it's kind of a mixed bag, Season 6. Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, God tier. The one I said God tier before was Legends of Tomorrow Season 4. No, Season 4... Hang on, let's get it here. Let's not get this confused. Season 4 is terrible. Technically, I shouldn't even own this. Like, logically, there's no reason for me to own this. I did not like this season at all. I almost dropped it. Like, I hated it that much. Season 3 is God tier. Let's not get this confused. Season 4, bad. Season 3, good. The most recent addition, I literally got this yesterday, Arrow Season 8. I have a lot of issues with Arrow Season 8, but I do love it overall. Like, I do enjoy it. It's a really fun, really rewatchable season. And obviously it's the final season as well. And it's super emotional for me. I cried many times watching this final season. I just have a lot of issues with how they went about it. Arrow Season 5, a lot of people's favourite season. I do love Season 5. It's also got my favourite Arrow villain, which is Prometheus. Flash Season 3, I often think gets a bit too much hate from Flash fans. I actually really like Season 3. I like the darker tone. I like the... I mean, they did waste Flashpoint, but I still think it was pretty cool what they did. The Vixen movie, actually really good. This is like an animated movie. This is like the one animated thing that the CW's done that was actually really good. They brought back a lot of the cast members for this, and it kind of sets up some stuff in Legends of Tomorrow and also Arrow Season 4 quite well. Supergirl Season 1, not that great. It's okay. Obviously, it wasn't on the CW then. Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. A lot of people don't like Season 1. I enjoy it. I mean, it is struggling to find its feet in the season, but I do enjoy it. Here we have the Elseworlds crossover. This crossover, I was underwhelmed by this crossover initially, but I actually have grown to really like it. I think it's actually just like a really fun one. The Flash Season 2. Nearly as good as the first season. It's very close, but it's not quite as good, but it's nearly there. Season 2 is really enjoyable. And what I want to end on, Arrow Season 4. I don't hate Arrow Season 4. Like, again, Arrow is my favourite show of all time. I adore it. I'm kind of like an Arrow fanboy. I can watch Season 4 and enjoy it. I really don't have much issue with Season 4. I actually enjoy Season 4, like, quite a bit. So, yeah, whatever. I like Season 4. Shoot me. So there you have it, guys. There's my Blu-ray collection. I have no idea how long this video's been. I'm surprised my camera hasn't died. I'm surprised my iPad hasn't run out of storage. Somehow we got through it. So I'm going to slap this video together. It might be a bit messy. It might be a bit rough around the edges, so I do apologize for that. But I hope you guys did enjoy this Blu-ray collection. Again, it's something I've wanted to do for a while now. I'm just surrounded by a menagerie of Blu-rays, which I'm going to have to spend the next hour cleaning up. But I'm really glad I made this video. I'm really happy it's finally done. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. So if you guys did enjoy this and you want to see more movie content, TV content, everything else in between, if you want to see more from me on this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos from me. Also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because again, it was quite a long process. It took me quite a while to do. So if you guys did enjoy it, please support the channel and give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, guys, I hope to see you in my next video, whenever that may be, next time.